The news at 10. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We start off in Niger State, where Governor Umar Bago has received the remaining abducted students and staff of St. Mary's Catholic School, Papiri, in Agwara local government area. The students were formally handed over today by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Rubadu, who was represented by Major General Adamu Laka. Speaking at the handover, Major General Laka said security agencies had worked tirelessly since the abduction to ensure the safe rescue and return of the children. He emphasized the federal government's commitment to policies and protect the rights and safety of every Nigerian child. Governor Bago received the rescued students and staff, has expressed gratitude to President Tinubu and the National Security Advisor Nuhu Rubadu for their swift intervention and decisive actions that led to the successful rescue of the victims.
I wish to, on this note, reaffirm the commitment of the Office of the National Security Advisor on the security of every Nigerian. We will continue to lead and coordinate measures to protect communities and institutions across the country. Particularly, we are implementing immediate short-term protective measures in high-risk areas while concurrently working with state governments, traditional and religious leaders to develop lasting community-based security solutions.
I want to thank the President, I want to thank the NSA, the Department of State Service, for the Nigerian Army and everybody for their support. This wouldn't have been possible without everybody's hands on deck, so this is good. But seeing the size of those children is really, really touching. You know, a child of 1 year, 2 years old and in captivity, you know, it's very, very touching.
Let's talk to security expert Darlington Umaru for more on this development. Mr. Umaru, thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. Good news, the school children are back. If you're following updates, 50 we understand escaped, the first batch of 100 and now 130. That's 280 altogether. It's a different figure from the over 300 we've been reporting earlier. Perhaps there's some discrepancies with figures as reported. But what do you make of the fact that the way and manner these school children were released is still shrouded in secrecy?
Well, thank you for having me in the first instance, but it's not out of place. It's not the first time we are having this kind of experience where all the children may not have been released at the same time. From what we gathered, we are being told that these children were released. Perhaps if you say the children were released and not necessarily rescued, it meant the interpretation of that is that the kidnappers themselves, perhaps irrespective of what may have transpired, decided to release the children. What we heard for the first batch was that some of them or many of them had to escape from the den of these kidnappers. And so those of them who were strong enough were able to leave the den of these kidnappers and were able to find their ways to town, to their parents and all of that. But for this, they say the children were released. So we do not know exactly what may have transpired, what government did to ensure that the kidnappers had to let go is still shrouded at this point in time. Was it that the military were able to surround the kidnappers and then they had to say, okay, if you let us go, we can allow the children go safely? Was it that there was a negotiation between the military and these persons? You know, that's adopting the non-kinetic approach that had to make these people release these children, because I'm very mindful and careful of my choice of word. What we gathered is not that these children were rescued. They are saying they are using the military terminology of release. Release at this instance meant that the kidnappers had to let the children go.
Mr. Umaru, For parents and well-wishers, no sacrifice is too big as long as they have their children back. But how sustainable do you consider this style where no arrests were reportedly made, nobody's brought to justice in a situation where hundreds of students were, whisked away from a public school? What's the implication of this on the sustainability of safety and peace in our schools going forward?
Well, it goes a long way. If nobody is brought to book, it meant that nobody has been arrested for this kidnapping. And then it does not augur well for our children, particularly those of them in school. Don't forget again that all unity schools were shut down at a point in time. But only, was it recently we had the Minister for Information or Education stating that all the schools, unitary schools, have been reopened. So the challenge is what security measures have been put in place to securing these children that have been allowed to go to school. Many of them are writing exams now. Some of them are done with their exams. What is it that they didn't do before that they have not done right? Now, if there are no arrests, if there's nobody answerable to questions that could arise as to why these children were taken away, where they were taken to, I do not understand. Are we sure that these same persons will back down and will not go again? And then again, at this point in time, we have to also look at the owners of these schools. Like this Catholic school, for instance, schools were told to shut down in Niger State as a result of intel reports. But we also gathered that this school went ahead to reopen. Who asked that the school should reopen? And why was the school reopened? Who is answering questions also on the part of the school, disobeying and disagreeing with government information, information that stated that all schools should be shut down on the basis of intel report as at the time this school reopened. So on both sides, persons should be brought to book.
Indeed.
People should be answering questions from the side of the ownership of the school, from the side of the kidnappers. You are right. We have not heard or seen anybody who has been arrested or facing prosecution for this heinous crime. What exactly transpired? I think the Minister of Defense should be able to come up to give us a clear picture of what has transpired. If you negotiated the release of these persons, was it about, okay, let them go, we will let you go, or let them go and then we will not take you, we will not arrest you or take you to court? The Minister for Defense has to come out and talk to us. These children have gone through.
Indeed.
And I'm telling you now that the horror these children went through will not immediately be erased from their lives, not as soon as possible.
We have completely run out of time. This interview has left us with more questions than answers. Hopefully, we'll get the answers needed in the coming days. Darlington Maru, security expert, thank you for talking to us.